Okay, now it's starting. Okay. So. These stories. I don't even know. Wait. It is called The Yellow Wallpaper. And A Temporary Matter. Oh, shoot.
So, what's the question?
Yeah.
So the first question, it says, what action does the person perform that might seem odd or unaccountable?
It's like the whole story.
In our story.
I guess before that, you have to answer why one person in each story does something particular. So
why one person
why
in the
one
story does
person?
something.
Yeah, that's what it says to talk about first. So, and the example it gives for yellow wallpaper is why the narrator goes insane. So that's what we're going to talk about, I think, for yellow wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
Why the lady or the wife goes insane in the house. And I don't know. What are you guys for the other story going to talk about?
The other story kind of talked about how this married couple didn't talk to each other anymore, and it was like really weird. Like they didn't do anything with each other anymore.
Yeah.
Wait, that story that married?
They're married, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So
it was weird.
Interesting story.
It is. What did in Yellow Wallpaper? What did they do like specifically that was really weird?
That what?
I guess it's like how the husband kind of does not even trust his wife that she's sick.
So it's more like the wife is having this like health condition, illness or something. But then it seems like that the husband never believed, nor the brother or any of the friends. So she feel like it's just her that believes in her, like that she's sick and all this that she went through. So it's like the husband believed that she had this temporary nervous or something, but that's not what she believed in.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's some part of it.
In the other story, they never ate dinner together. They would eat their dinner in like separate rooms, even though like he would cook and then like she would never do the dishes, and he was like always gone from home and would come back like super late, and they would like not even talk. They thought it was like really awkward to talk, which is super weird for a married couple.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Okay, so I'm just gonna give my like summary on the story that kind of answers all the questions for the yellow wallpaper, like all the questions that we're told to discuss. So like basically, let's see. So the husband, John, and the narrator, which is the wife, they go and rent this house in the summer. It's like a secluded house, a secluded house far away, and pretty much the husband's a doctor, so she believes anything that the husband says because he's a doctor, and what he says is backed up by his history as a doctor. And so the narrator says that she suffers from temporary nervous depression. That's what the husband tells her. So that's what she says she believes she has. So the husband, being a doctor, orders the wife to have as much rest as possible, and then he picks a room for her to stay in. And this room is it's really bland and it has yellow wallpaper, and she starts to feel uncomfortable with the house, but continues to obey whatever the husband says. And then pretty much the husband sends her after they are there. That's when he sends her to the room by herself, and it's on the top floor. It's smaller, and it's not where she wanted to go, but she just goes along with it because she believes she has to obey everything. And as she gets there, she starts going crazy because she's like trapped in this room all day. She believes has this depression and stuff, and that's when the yellow wallpaper really gets to her. She starts going crazy, picking it off, whatever. She gets obsessed with it, and the reason why is because she's bored out of her mind. It's because she's trapped in her mind, and she's trapped to whatever her husband thinks about her. Anyway, that's just my summary of it.
Oh, that's cool.
You described the whole story.
Yeah. Should I describe
Kind
the
of.
story?
Yeah, and it's
Doesn't make
like
sense.
in addition to that, like the husband always worked, so
Yeah.
often left without like emotional, like there's no one to talk to, and it's kind of keep her like with that, like she's going crazy,
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like every
Also,
the wallpaper, it like drives her crazy. Like she think about all those weird things, like evil ghosts.
oh.
Yeah.
yeah. I think the wallpaper is like a metaphor for her mind. Like she comes in
Yeah.
and at first she's really amazed by the wallpaper, whatever. She becomes obsessed with it. And then eventually she starts going crazy because, like you said, she doesn't see the husband anymore. So then she becomes convinced that there's a woman trapped within the paper. But really, if you think about it, the wallpaper is symbolic for her mind. She's trapped in her own mind. That's when she starts stripping the wallpaper off and tearing it down. She's really just losing her mind. And then as soon as the husband comes back and he comes into the room, she then declares that she's free. And then she's suddenly like okay with it.
Interesting.
That's so weird.
Well, I guess that's why the husband is kind of telling she mental, like,
Yeah.
this is just because of like not locking her, but like staying in that room. So every time he came back from work, this kind of stuff that making, kind of showing him that, and believe it, that she is kind of having that mental issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like the wife is restricted, like treated like a child because she locked in the room. It's like she's in a prison.
Yeah.
More than a prison. It's like she does not do anything, but only she did is just staying in that room, and whatever in that room, that's the only thing that
Yeah.
The other one, it's kind of like flip-flopped because it's talking from the husband's point of view, and then the husband's like really nice and like misses all these things that him and his wife used to do, and then he like doesn't know why like his wife isn't talking to him anymore, and like why she is kind of depressed, but not in like that kind of way like the other story. But he's like says like he misses these kinds of things, and he doesn't go crazy either. It's kind of like more of a modern strict him, just like he misses it. But she's kind of like distant from him. He wants to get close to his wife, but his wife is kind of like the distant one in that relationship. So because it's kind of flip-flopped. Maybe, kind of.
Alright.
What are some other questions?
Yeah. So let's look at some of the questions.
Yeah.
So I guess for the yellow wallpaper, I kind of discussed it in the summary that I gave, but she starts losing her mind. You know, she starts going crazy, insane. And the examples of this is when she starts like scratching the wallpaper, tearing it down. And this
Mhm.
is probably viewed as extreme. It's probably viewed as unusual. But for her, it's just a way of coping with how trapped she feels and dealing with the absence of her husband. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
What was
Wait, what?
I'm trying to think? What was like other weird stuff that happened?
Well, we already talked about like the weird stuff. And what's the story? What's the name of the
A
story?
temporary matter. Yeah.
Of how like they eating.
Yeah, but then like when the lights turned off, the lights turned off at 8 p.m. every night, 8 to 9, and so they would eat dinner in the dark. and they like never ate dinner like together, but that made them eat dinner together because they couldn't like go escape to their rooms and like watch TV or like go on their computers. And so that like forced them to like sit down and eat dinner together, but it was in the dark. But they had like candlelights and stuff, and so it like kind of reminded them of how they used to be and how they used to eat dinner together. And so it's kind of weird, like because like the darkness brought them back together. And when their child died, in the end, it was talking about like how their child died, and when he got to hold their child, and how he was kind of like describing it that he was in a dark place, like his eyelids were closed, and it said like, oh, it was dark, and so their baby can be like represented as the darkness because I don't know, he's dead now, and so but then like their child who's like now dead like brought them together if he represents darkness because the darkness brought them to the table and it helped them eat dinner together.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Interesting. Any other story? Oh wait, let me.
Other stories. What are the questions?
Can't even find it.
I know it's not really loading very well. It's that one. It's in unit 4.
Unit 4. I'm like all in Unit 8. What the heck? Unit 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have another question? Unit 4, writing the poetry and analysis. So you can correct the story.
We're moving to the discussion questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first question says, what actions does the person perform that might seem odd or unaccountable?
Yeah, I kind of.
It's kind of like
Oh, go ahead.
the same weird stuff.
I think we discussed that one.
Yeah, so take it.
All right. Second one, what things does the person do that might be extreme or unusual? We just discussed it.
Yeah, I kind of answered all these questions in like one go.
Yeah,
This-
it's more like that we talk about it, kind of summarizing the story. and
Yeah.
we kind of cover that story.
The wife did do a really weird thing when she first came back from the hospital. She went to every room in her house and she threw around stuff until she was satisfied. So she threw around stuff and then she started crying. That was weird. That kind of reminds me of when the girl was tearing up the wallpaper because it went crazy.
Why she do that?
Because
Because of the baby guy.
Mm-hmm.
And also the part where she can see women like from like when
Yeah,
she
that's
look at the
creepy.
wallpaper, she can see that.
Sleep
That's
tonight.
crazy.
Oh, look like the story's like
I'm sleeping with
whole
my light.
story.
I'm gonna sleep with my
Scary.
light on today.
Okay, so what might account for those actions?
You said it. Like the babies.
What did I say? It's about the baby.
Why did she do what she did?
Wait, what?
Why did she like throw stuff around? Why did they do their actions?
Oh.
Like what caused the weird stuff to happen?
That cause stories why like the wife doing that because of like her baby loss and I feel like that her life is lost because of that baby. That baby or something.
Yeah, and her husband wasn't there
Yeah.
when it was born, but he was.
And it's kind of costing her all that stuff,
Yeah.
making her go crazy coming
Mhm.
back.
Yep.
Anything to add?
Yeah. So. Yeah, just what we were saying, like. Yeah, her actions. Yeah, going crazy, going insane. These are odd, and they're extreme because it's not normal to do what she did. To believe that there's a woman trapped behind the wallpaper, that's not normal. That's quite extreme. And then her other behavior, like tearing and scratching the wallpaper, whatever. I think these actions were caused, as you guys said, because the absence of her husband, and because her husband convinced her that she was crazy. Like she believed so much what he said, and she obeyed everything he said. So she was kind of like trapped in that sense. And that's my theory, is that she was just the wallpaper was symbolic for her mind, and the husband kind of controlled that.
And I think the one reason why she act like that is because no one is eager to listen to her about
Yeah,
her,
exactly.
like, because she talks about the room that they moved into, like saying that
Yeah.
something strange and she's afraid of, but then the husband never permit to like listen
Yeah.
to her feeling, and she always locked in the room. That's one thing too, like she needs
Yeah.
to someone, but there's no one, so that drives her crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly.
Locking someone in the room.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
discussed
We're-
it at the same time.
It would go
Yeah.
insane.
Pretty much discussed ours. Yeah.
Lock yourself in the room.
We just discussed about this. So the next question it says,
I
can
feel
you
like we covered the whole thing.
speculate on what causes those actions might have?
Where are you?
Can you speculate on what causes those actions might have?
To get
I don't understand the question.
the questions.
No.
Oh, if you don't understand the question, how can tell me
Just speculate what causes it.
what
we
causes
talked about
those
that.
action? I think
Those actions, like those weird actions.
I think we well, like for us.
Yeah.
it's just-
We definitely answered all the questions with our yellow wallpaper.
Yeah.
we kind of like answer all the questions
in
like
the
when
discussion.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
but that's okay. We can still keep talking.
So
I
what's the
I think we're good. We've already talked for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
yeah?
It's more like that we need to like because you know our last time that we talked and then like she wanted us to keep talking because like 7
I
minutes
think
is
we
kind
go
of
over 10 minutes already.
I think we have
Goes
to.
Yeah,
we
we're 15. We're already 15.
Okay.
are we good?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
understand
I think
most
we're good.
stories.
You understand the whole story?
Most stories. Yeah.
Are you ready for writing?
Yep. I'm doing it right up.
Easy. The story is kind of like now we understand both of the story.
Yeah, but then it says just write about one. So
You just pick one.
yeah,
Like-
which I'm like, wait, why do we have to read two stories if we're just gonna write about one?
Yeah.
I would-
Up to
can
you
write,
guys.
like, write the whole 2 stories
All right.
Yeah.
so that it kind of fit like the one.
Yeah, so you can compare them.
That's okay. Obedience is better than
All right. Is that it?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
anything.
No, I'm good.
No.
Okay.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
All right. Thumbs
Okay.
up to you,
Hey.
Will and your girlfriend.
Okay.
Have fun.
Okay, thanks, guys.